Young Sophie opened her mother's coffin to kiss her goodbye, but her heart raced as her eyes met a sight she couldn't comprehend. She started shouting, "That's not my mom. Where's my mom?" The morning sun filtered through the windows of the small suburban house, casting gentle rays of light across the breakfast table. 8-year-old Sophie sat at the table, her school bag slung over her shoulder. It was an ordinary day, or at least, that's what she thought as she nibbled on her toast and listened to her mother's soft humming from the kitchen. "Sophie, don't forget your lunchbox," her mother, Emily, called out with a warm smile as she placed a neatly packed lunch on the table. "I won't, Mom," Sophie chirped, her excitement for the day ahead evident in her bright eyes. With a quick hug and a kiss on the forehead, Sophie's mother sent her off to school. Little did Sophie know, this would be the last time she would see her mother's smiling face. The school day passed by like any other, with lessons, laughter, and games in the playground. But as the final bell rang, Sophie's uncle, Mark, arrived at the school to pick her up. There was an unusual sadness in his eyes as he approached her. "Sophie, we need to go home," Mark said gently, his voice betraying a heaviness. "Why? Is something wrong, Uncle Mark?" Sophie asked, her heart beginning to race. Mark's grip on her hand tightened as they walked back home. He struggled to find the right words, torn between protecting Sophie's innocence and breaking the devastating news. When they finally reached home, he took a deep breath and led her inside. "Sophie," he began softly, his voice trembling, "your mother, she's not with us anymore. She's gone, sweetheart." Sophie felt as if the ground had been ripped from beneath her feet. The world around her blurred as tears welled up in her eyes. The weight of those words crashed down upon her young heart, leaving her breathless with grief. The day of the funeral arrived, and the house was filled with mourners, relatives, and unfamiliar faces. Sophie stood near the open coffin, her heart heavy as she looked down at the lifeless figure of a woman she loved so dearly. As her father and other relatives whispered their final goodbyes, Sophie's gaze remained fixated on her mother's face. With a sudden surge of courage, she stepped forward and lifted the veil covering her mother's face. Her heart raced as her eyes met a sight she couldn't comprehend. "That's not my mom. Where's my mom?" Sophie's voice quivered as she cried out in shock. Her father's stern grip on her arm pulled her away from the coffin. "Sophie, that's enough," he hissed, his anger barely contained. Relatives exchanged worried glances, assuming Sophie's outburst was a result of her young mind grappling with the pain of loss. They whispered consoling words, but none of them truly understood the anguish that had taken root in Sophie's heart. Days turned into weeks, and the incident at the funeral continued to haunt Sophie. She couldn't shake off the feeling that something was amiss, that her mother's absence held a secret she was yet to uncover. Her pleas to her father fell on deaf ears, met with a wall of anger and dismissal. Locked in her room, Sophie's tears became her closest companions. Her father's drug addiction only added to her isolation, leaving her with a deep sense of abandonment. She longed to visit her mother's grave, to find solace in the familiarity of the cemetery, but her father's stern restrictions kept her confined within the walls of their home. 2 months after Emily's death, Sophie's life took an unexpected turn. She was adopted by a loving couple, Sarah and David, who welcomed her into their hearts without asking about her past. With time, Sophie began to heal, finding comfort in the warmth of their embrace. One night, when Sophie was 16, she awoke from a dream that left her breathless. Her adoptive mother, Sarah, heard her restless movement and came to her room. "Sophie, are you okay?" Sarah's voice was soft and filled with concern. Sophie wiped away her tears, feeling a mixture of relief and embarrassment. She had dreamt of her mother, of her presence, and the haunting words she whispered, "My little angel, we will meet soon." As the years passed, Sophie's dreams persisted. She kept them hidden, afraid that sharing them would only lead to more judgment and disbelief. But a turning point came on her 18th birthday, when she finally confided in her adoptive mother about the dreams that had haunted her for over a decade. Sarah listened attentively, her eyes filled with empathy. "Sophie, I believe you. And I think it's time we uncover the truth about your mother." With renewed determination, Sophie and Sarah embarked on a journey to unravel the mystery that had cast a shadow over Sophie's life. They decided to start by investigating her biological father, the man who had kept her from saying a proper goodbye to her mother. Armed with courage and a burning desire for answers, Sophie devised a plan to confront her father. She knew where he lived, and one night, when he was incapacitated by his addiction, she sneaked into his home and took his phone. What she discovered left her stunned and enraged. The messages on her father's phone revealed a chilling truth. He had been involved in an affair with another woman, a woman who wanted to marry him. But Emily, Sophie's mother, stood in their way. The messages hinted at a plot to eliminate Emily so they could be together. Shaking with a mix of anger and sorrow, Sophie shared the evidence with her adoptive mother. It was clear that her mother's death had been no accident, but a deliberate act of violence. Further investigation led Sophie and Sarah to uncover more details about the tragic events that had unfolded 12 years ago. Emily had not died that day. She had managed to escape her attacker, suffering a blow to her head that had caused memory loss. Disoriented and without identification, she had been found near a river and taken to a mental institution. The pieces of the puzzle were coming together, revealing a web of deceit and betrayal that had torn Sophie's family apart. But there was still one missing link, reuniting Sophie with her real mother. The news of the unfolding truth made headlines, capturing the attention of media outlets. The person who had found Emily that fateful day, when she was brought unconscious to the shore, recognized her in the news coverage and contacted Sophie. With a heart pounding with anticipation, Sophie rushed to the mental institution. As she entered a room, her eyes locked onto a woman with brown hair, the same eyes she had seen in the mirror all her life. Tears blurred her vision as recognition and love surged through her. "Mom!" Sophie's voice trembled as she called out. In an instant, the woman turned and their eyes met. A daughter and a mother, separated by fate and reunited by determination. Emily's memory came rushing back, and with open arms, they embraced, their tears mingling in a river of long-held emotions. The truth had set them free, unraveling the secrets that had bound them in sorrow for so long. Emily's attackers were brought to justice, and her father's true nature was exposed to the world. With her mother by her side, Sophie's journey of healing truly began. The scars of the past were now infused with the light of truth and the warmth of love. The nightmares that had plagued her for years gradually faded, replaced by dreams of hope and a future she could now embrace fully. As Sophie and Emily walked hand in hand, they looked back at the painful road they had traveled, grateful for the unwavering love that had guided them back to each other. The echoes of a distant past had transformed into the harmonious melody of a new beginning, reminding them that even in the darkest of times, love and perseverance could lead to a place of profound healing and redemption. Dear friends, we've reached the conclusion of this extraordinary narrative. We trust that you've thoroughly enjoyed it. If it resonated with you, we kindly ask for your support. A thumbs up, your insightful comments, sharing across your social platforms, subscribing to our channel, and ensuring the notification bell is active so you're alerted to our latest videos. This ensures you're always in the loop for our upcoming content. As we bid you farewell for now, we extend a warm invitation to be part of our next storytelling endeavor.